Today is May 8th. This is COVID-19 Local Impact Ottawa Valley. I'm Trevor Riley. Here's a look at the COVID-19 situation. At the latest update, we had no new confirmed cases, which keeps us at 17, and 1 death and 12 resolved cases. Total tests done sit at 2,057, and negative tests now sit at 1,869, and we are currently awaiting the results of 171 tests. As we take a look at the picture in Ontario, the number of cases went up by 477, which is a 2.5% increase from the last report, bringing it up to 19,598. 1,540 deaths have been reported, and total tests have now increased by over 16,000 from yesterday's report, now reaching over 397,000 tests. Those are the current numbers for the 10:30 a.m. update on May 8th. Today we're going to hear from Pam McNichol to discuss the importance of an online presence in your small business during this time and the changes she has had to make to her business to enable her to continue to offer quality flower arrangements to her customers.
Of our business when we started flowers. So I was able to operate under that umbrella. And it turns out I find out on the federal level that we are essential. We are part of the agricultural chain, the growers market. So in that time, I've turned all the suppliers that we had delivering to us were delivering mostly imported product, and that all dried up very quickly. So John can attest to this. I like to talk and I like to get to know people really quick. It's who I am. So one of my old sales reps, floral sales reps, now works for some Ontario growers. So I made a phone call to her straight away, and we've been actually buying our products straight from Ontario growers. I've never had more beautiful product. And like, I guess it's just kind of, I got to practice what I preach. I got to practice what I try to tell my clients. And I've really tried to take this opportunity to be better, to make my business better, to offer better product, to all at the same time while keeping myself, my family first and foremost. I do have a staff member. We're working shifts. We're social distancing. We're doing all the things. But I want to keep everybody healthy. And that's our number one priority. So before everybody was shut down, we were already operating under those pretenses. And to be honest, there was a level of gratefulness to be able to shut the door and not feel bad. So they're greenhouses. They're mostly from the Niagara region. But the only thing really that isn't grown here that is in high demand for us are roses, and that's Ecuador and Colombia. Holland obviously has a huge presence. The devastation with the Holland growers throughout this was when they shut down and they weren't able to export. Like, as a florist watching the fields of flowers being mowed down and burnt, like, it was devastating. But it's also enabled me, like, Ontario grown product typically is out of our reach to purchase financially. So that's just the way it is, right? If you want something local, it's like a shirt. If it's made here, but if it's made in China, we can afford it. And so, it's no different in our world. It's just different countries, different, but it's all the same. So, but purchasing the way that I do now, and I cut out a middleman. I cut out a supplier. We provide our own transportation. We're doing our own pickups. But what I'm able to offer, the quality is just, I can't compete with it. Like, it's astronomical, and I was unable before. So for me to purchase, like, I can show you actually. For me to purchase this hydrangea, okay, it would never look like this. Like, look at the size of that.
That's pretty
It would
big.
be half this size and twice the price.
Yeah.
So the benefit for us, for me specifically, has been that I'm able to offer the same product, but twice the value. Like, and we're becoming known. I have another store in Barry's Bay, and like, what I'm able to offer there is, the whole community. Like, I mean, we've been so well supported throughout this too. And I mean, I'm right now going into Mother's Day, and today specifically, our printer hasn't stopped printing, our phones haven't stopped ringing. At one point, and I'm so tired, and I felt like crying. But um, bottom line is that the level of gratitude throughout a time like this, when you live in and work in small communities, and you can see that, you spend a lot of time authentically fostering good relationships. And um, I'm not somebody, and I'm sure most people are like this, that can say, hey, like, we need help right now. We need
Mm-hmm.
to be supported.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had to ask. And the level of gratitude that I have is like, I've never been prouder to be part of these
Mm-hmm.
communities, really.
Welcome back. While a lot of the focus has been on the people affected by COVID-19, today we're going to change up that focus a little bit. We're going to look at some animals. Your TV Muskoka's James Bowler recently chatted with the Toronto Zoo's CEO to find out how the animals are doing and when we'll have a chance to go to Toronto and visit them once again.
And joining me now from the Toronto Zoo is Dolph DeYoung. Dolph, thanks very much for taking the time today.
Great to chat.
So Dolph, I just wanted to talk to you a bit about what the Toronto Zoo is doing during this COVID-19 pandemic. There's some interesting things happening, and one of the great things I've noticed lately is the Facebook Live educational videos you guys have been doing, which I'm sure are for children, but I feel like they're, for everybody, because I've been enjoying them as well. Can you tell me a bit about the decision to create those videos?
Well, this is such a challenging time with everybody being self-isolating. And, we have a really simple hashtag we've been living by, closed but still caring. And that includes sharing those messages where we can. So we made a decision to do Facebook Lives every day at 1 o'clock. And it lets us connect people to the animals that are still receiving world-class care at our zoo. It lets us talk about a lot of species that traditionally don't get a lot of profile. And it lets us also show off our amazing animal care staff. They're passionate, they're knowledgeable, and getting that moment where every individual can ask questions on social, they can get those questions answered and really be part of a meaningful narrative on animals and connecting people to the natural world. It's been an incredible addition for our zoo.
And as I understand it, it extends that mandate that we had recently chatted about. Has been put down to educate and conserve as well, right?
Yeah, our mission, and we just updated this early in 2020, is to connect people, animals, and conservation science to fight extinction. We really believe passionately in connecting people to these animals, to the natural world, to the challenges these animals are facing in the natural world, and the day-to-day behaviors that everyone could consider adopting to reduce their impact on those wild counterparts.
So Dolph, tell me about the operations at the zoo right now. I did see in one of these live videos that the zookeepers were saying, the animals, they like having people around. So there are other ways of engaging the animals right now. What are the keepers doing?
So our animal care staff, there's the traditional husbandry work they do, making sure the habitats are clean, ensuring the animals are well fed and they're receiving their incredibly diverse diets, but also doing a lot of welfare and well-being work and doing a lot of enrichment. So keeping them active mentally. And traditionally, the guests play a big role in that. They're a form of stimuli as they go by. But our team, whether it's hiding food, engaging in new activities, or building new training devices, are making sure those animals' psychological well-being is looked after. And we're really paying close attention because it's not too often we can have an 8-week closure to consider what that looks like.
So Dolph, let's talk about reopening, because I know, I really want to get back to the zoo. I've been talking to other people that, they're really interested in getting back and getting some zoo time as well. When could we possibly see the zoo reopening, and what kind of plan will you have in place? Because as we've heard, COVID-19 isn't going away anytime soon.
What's been absolutely phenomenal is whether it's our Food for Life campaign, our Facebook Lives, our education programs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock, is the incredible support the zoos receive. People are excited to get outside, to get back, to see the animals. So our reopening plans, we have it kind of mapped out into 3 big blocks. Right now, we're working with folks, across all levels of government to see if we can open up as a drive-through zoo. Can we actually practice physical and social distancing by keeping people in their vehicles and having a touchless experience that you would drive through as a scenic safari? Then we look forward to I'll call it a softer opening, where our facilities, the buildings would be closed, but our zoo is over 500 acres, 10 plus kilometers of trails, lots of room for people to go out for a walk, to connect with these animals and see and learn about what's going on with these individuals. And then ultimately our third phase, getting back to a zoo operation that will resemble pre-COVID-19 life, with our facilities and everything open, as well as our keeper talks, as everyone knows and loves.
So is there an ideal time? I know the Ford government is holding back a lot of these larger scale operations from opening right now, but in your mind, would there be an ideal time to reopen?
Well, you know what? Our first priority is keeping our staff, our guests, and our animals safe and healthy. So we're going to follow the lead of the medical officers of health, and we're going to make sure we look after the well-being of all those individuals. They're precious, and we're going to make sure we do this right. We'd all love to be open again tomorrow, but of course we have to wait until it's safe to do so.
So Dolph, I have one last question for you, a bit of a fun one here, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but I just want to know, what's your favorite animal at the zoo?
I get this question frequently, and I think I have to admit to having two of them. Polar bear Juno, I feel like she and I have had a really good time together since I joined the zoo over a year and a half ago. And Loki, black-throated thrush that lives in our Indo pavilion, who I get to greet frequently when I walk through there. Those are two of my favorites for sure. But I think it's like children; you're not allowed to pick.
All right, Dolph, thanks very much for taking the time today.
No worries. Thank you for your concern and passion for the Toronto Zoo.
Remember to catch up with us here at Your TV. Check out yourtv.tv for all our COVID-19 coverage and full-length interviews. I'm Trevor Riley. Thanks for watching.